Hi there, and welcome back to the History of Fleetwood Mac. I'm Anita. Today we're going to continue Volume 19, Episode 6 of my Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks scrapbooks. And we're going to continue Part 2 of my having driven down to Hollywood, California to meet Stevie Nicks at a signing at Ameoba Records in Hollywood. And I had started with pretty much just a story of having driven down, gotten my friend, getting there, getting my ticket, all that kind of stuff, getting in line. And I just was kind of waxing poetic a little bit too long, and I am sorry about that. Try and make it shorter this time. Maybe it'll go into 3 parts. I have no idea. But I had stopped off with having seen my best friend that I've had since high school and giving her Christmas stuff in August, which was kind of funny. And we were in line, like I'd said, about 5 p.m. And I think we were back at Amoeba at 5. We get back in the line about 6 or 6:30. Because again, it doesn't really matter. You didn't even really have to be in line. You went in when you got your number called. And the doors were at 7, and they were pretty punctual about it. And they allowed the first 15 people in, and everything was very, very controlled. It was amazing. Not like the Wiltern, not like the Fillmore at all. And they were right behind us with that. And while waiting for Stevie to make her grand entrance, again, notes that I have written here, Channel 7 is right in front of us. They are very politely speaking to fans. I'm getting the impression that this is kind of fun for them. The news guy is speaking to Doug and asking him where he came from and how long he's been a fan. He gives his story, but then says she's been a fan a long time also and drove all the way from Oregon. The guy turns to me and says, "What? Are you serious? Can we interview you?" I hope I didn't say, "Fuck yeah," but I might have. He asks again where I came from. And I keep talking into the camera, and he kind of makes a gesture like this, like, speak to me, like you're speaking to me. And I just, I don't talk to cameras. Even this one, I don't even know where to look on this one. Hopefully it's been right all this time. And so he does that, and I remark that I've been a fan for 28 years or so at that time, obviously, and estimate that I've seen Stevie. And I always say this, like I just told you yesterday, collectively, I mean, with Fleetwood Mac, but I put everybody together, Mick Fleetwood signings, the Lindsay and everything, probably around 100 times, which I still think is, I always think in my head is accurate, but it's not. I tell him this was a moment I just had to seize, and no matter how tired I am, I cannot believe this is about to happen to me. He tells me to wait here, like I'm going to go anywhere, and does his interview with Stevie. He does the thing maybe about 5 or 7 minutes, and then comes back and tells me that he told Stevie about me. I'm absolutely flabbergasted. He says he told her that a woman had driven all night from Portland to get here, and did that surprise Stevie? She at first said yes, that it was always an honor to see how fans respond to her, but then says, well, no. If you had asked me back in the day, would I have driven from Portland to Los Angeles to meet Jimi Hendrix or Janis Joplin, the answer would have been yes. Fans are driven by the music, or some such comparison. I can't recall exactly, but it was virtually that. And I just was like, obviously completely dumbfounded. So holy hell, this guy has just laid the perfect segue for me to when I go in to meet Stevie. Just half of like, oh my God, I drove down here and all that stuff is kind of out of the way. My friend had been asking me, all day, like, what was I going to say to Stevie? And I really didn't know. I had an inkling, you always want to say that I love you. Your music means so much to me. You've been an integral part of my life, blah, blah, blah. But everybody in that line is going to say that, so you're like, oh, I'm going to come up with something so original. And it's impossible because what? You love her. Her music is a part of your life. What are you going to do? So my friend just, like I said, had kept asking me, and I said, literally, just like it's, like I've been waiting for years. This young friend I brought of mine was a fan. His mother was a big fan, but then, this is pretty awesome. If I had met Stevie this early in my fandom, I've just completely lost my mind. So, I've been thinking about it since I was younger than his age at the time. You know what I mean? So it's been quite a while. And, so anyway, so I think that probably what I'm going to say to her is that, I've driven all this way. I have tried to meet you so many times, and please, 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 can I get a photo with you? And, but now I don't have to tell her about the driving part because that guy went in and told her, all about that part. So anyway, the news guy says he told Stevie I was number 2 or number 3, but he really said it was a woman, and that should narrow it down. The newscaster guy and I talked a bit more, and I asked him if it was fun for him, if he still ever geeks out a little when he's meeting celebrities. And he said, no, he did it all the time and is over it, although he is a big fan of Stevie, so that's cool. He added then it was a mutual respect, and that Stevie, when he walked in, pointed a finger at him, and it's like, what did he say to her? She said, oh, I know you. I like you. And that was kind of mutual respect. The artist will tend to be a bit more candid and relaxed with being interviewed if they like the person. So that guy, he thought that was pretty freaking cool. So I'm coming up on my moment, and I mean, just even thinking about it right now, my heart kind of flutters, and the rush of emotions. I had to have been pink as a newborn baby. I probably stunk to high heaven, even though I'd like wash my hands and like change my shirt and everything like that, because I was smoking like a chimney of stress. And just, I'm still a smoker, unfortunately, like that. But it's really, I can sit in my home for 6 and 8 hours, 10 hours overnight and not smoke. But like something like starts needling in my brain or something like that, that's kind of what I go down, go and do that too. So my moment, and I'm feeling rushed, even though it's just nerves. While in line, Amoeba staff had gone down the line, taking people's names, the spelling of it, and attaching a sticky note to the item they planned to have signed. I had taken my Belladonna poster, the airplane pose, like I told you guys yesterday, and was told she'd only sign in your dream stuff. And I still have that poster in hand because it's too late to go to the car. I had it rolled up, but that wasn't good enough. And I believe Karen took it from me in advance, even though I said I wasn't trying to go there. I'm not going to screw up my one shot. Anyway, I approach Stevie, and she reaches out her hand, shakes it, and I say, "Hi, I'm Portland." She smiles and she says, "Well, hello, Portland. It's nice to meet you." I say, "I'm so happy to be here, and it was such a trip and so last minute, and that no sooner was this signing happening, pardon me, I have to turn around and go right back." She replies, "Well, we'll have to hurry up and get the sign for you then." At which point I chuckle and I say, "Oh, no, you don't," followed by nerves of steel. My notes say that I said something more along the lines of no, just saying how worth this it was, despite having to go right back home. And I wrote those same notes the night that this happened. And I said, "Listen, I'm eternally grateful for what you are doing and did not want to come across as ungrateful or inconsiderate. But if I were to wait until this event was over or meet you at some undisclosed location at the stroke of midnight, trying to sound funny, could I please, and I mean please, get a photo with her? This is good. And again, I'm grateful, but I have to ask. So many years of hoping for this moment, and I'm totally cut off by Marty, who firmly says, no photos. And my feelings about Marty and Karen. I know that my father always called it a look that I had when I was a teenager, the look that is just like eat shit and die. You know what I mean? That look that kids give you when they're just being, mopish teenager stuff. I am confident that look came across my face right at him. And listen, I respect them immeasurably. I'm just a hater because, again, they have to protect Stevie. I want them to protect Stevie from psychopaths, perhaps even including me. But I'm speaking to her, and I know for a fact that I literally did that to him. Not right in his face because he's far enough away, but I said, I'm speaking to her. And I know that it came across real snotty and I didn't mean to, but I know that she was then looking up at me. And Sue states more, and I look at him, then back at Stevie, and she kind of cocks her head and she says, "What did you ask me?" Because I guarantee you I'm rolling my words into one inaudible request because now I'm really nervous because I don't want him to try and stop me again. And so I repeat myself, almost literally shaking now. I'm on the defensive with Marty looming, and she says, if you wait until all this is over, then yes, I'll take a picture with you at the end. Stevie Nicks just asked me if I'd wait for her. My moment of infamy. I profusely thank her, thank everybody, and she shakes my hand again. I make off completely dumbfounded that this just occurred. And I'm just not on planet Earth. I'm stopped by some woman at the sideline of meeting, like right when I left, and she signed my poster. And the lady called me by name, and I felt terrible because I'm like, who are you? Or maybe she just saw that my name, was on there. And she says that she'd like to take a picture with me and my signed poster, which oddly enough, I don't have that picture anywhere. Take a picture of me and my signed poster, and she's directing me, no, look this way, look up, look a little to the left, etc. She sends it right away to my phone. I just kind of look at her like, what the hell? Because, see above, I'm in a total daze. I mean, I just walked 10 feet from Stevie, and I'm comprehending that she's like, yes, I'll wait, and and this woman's like over here, and I'm like, what? I don't even know what my name is at this moment. Between where I meet her and where the line is progressing, a large, wide row of records. I slip into one aisle over because the news crew that I've been speaking to is there. He asks how it was, and I say how amazing, how just completely surreal it is. We chit-chat, and I watch my friend take his turn, and I'm trying to take pictures. But let's see what I say. We chit chat and I watch as my friend takes his turn with Stevie. It's kind of hard to take pics, which I'm really sorry about. But again, I'm in a fog. I'm oddly calm. I'm grateful I didn't freak out and tear up, but also a little surprised. Perhaps the only benefit of having had to wait this long to meet her. My friend finishes and you can tell he's on the cusp of crying. I tell him to come over to us because we're kind of like with the news. And he just immediately starts in with, is it okay? Is it okay to be here? And I'm like, dude, just come over here. Like, just, but he's in a complete fog too. But I'm like, I'm the only one who's left the crowd and that guy says, come over here. So I'm trying to tell him to come over. And he's like, wait, should we be just because we can still be right there. We can still be right there seeing her instead of having to get back. And they want you to keep that aisleway open to exit, of course, because, the lines over here, records and stuff like that, they don't want you blocking it, which is a no-brainer. So that was kind of funny. And then he's like, he had a top hat on. He's like, should I keep this on? Should I keep this off? And I'm like, I love you with all my heart, but, because we're both just tripping. I'm not mad at him by any means. At the moment, I can't say that I wasn't. Probably just because I'm tired and pissy and I'm freaking flipping my lid here. So I'm going to be completely transparent. And because I'm talking to you right now. I know he knows who I'm talking. But now, I mean, of course, like immediately on the way back, it's just we both just had this like life altering, like for us, just it means the world to us. This is big. This is really a big deal. So I realized, and I finished here because these are notes I wrote down that night. I realized he too is in the moment, but I'm like, chill out, just take advantage of this opportunity. And I kind of snap at him in abbreviated form. He looks at me much like my dog does. She's in trouble. I don't mean to bitch, but we are right there. And as a result, we were right there watching Stevie. So I want us to savor it. I want us to have that other opportunity. You know what I mean? So no sooner are we situated than the news guy says, like, I just got my friend over here and we're in this prime spot where we can still try and take some pictures, though you'll see later they suck. And so right when I got him over there, we're calming down and stuff like that. The news guy's like, well, I got to go. And I'm like, shit. So we're going to lose our spot now. So no sooner are we situated than the news guy says that he had to leave. And as a result, surely they're going to boot me and my friend up. At this point, I'm kind of like, dude, thank you so much. I follow the news crew outside, and then I thank the anchorman profusely for the conversation and the lead in with Stevie. That made it so personal. Just that little moment just made it so like, I couldn't believe it. It's one thing that he talked to me and then he goes and interviews her, but I mean, to be brought up, it really made a huge, huge, huge difference to me. And he was a really nice guy. And I have that picture because I didn't get it on a page, but this is the gentleman, the news crew guy, George. I cannot say his last name. Super freaking nice guy. And the camera guy too was just as nice. And he was all grins. I kind of should have gotten pictures with him because he's a real sweetheart. And I say the camera guy is nice enough to take a picture of me and the news gentleman. It's just a must have. And he thought that was kind of cool. He's like, why do you want a picture of me? And I'm like, you just did all this for me. Like, it's really, and he just played a big role in the day and that was it. So I'm outside. And I think I'm going to kind of wrap this up and maybe I'll show a few pictures, but still, I think I will make this into two parts. I'm outside and I'm flipping out and I'm watching the other people go in and out. People taking their turns and how was it for you? What'd you say? What are you going to say, etc. And then I think, oh shit, what if Stevie just blew smoke up my ass? Now what do I do? So sure enough, I go and I ask the Ameoba crew, duh. And of course they're like, sure, lady. Yeah, yeah. Stevie Nicks told you that she'd meet you. Oh, absolutely, sure. Go across the street. I'm screwed. I'm completely screwed, right? And I said, you can't blame them. But I said, listen, this is the deal. In your unbiased opinion, let's just say the news crew talked to me. I drove from Oregon. I told her, I said, listen, I didn't tell anybody else that that's what I asked her. Nobody else knows that. Nobody else is saying anything. If you were to be an unbiased, nice person, please just take a chance that I'm being totally honest with you and notice you aren't being swarmed by 100 other people who are saying the same thing. I told no one until quite a bit later. That's what I talked to her about. I said, where do you think that I should stand? And he suggested getting back in the end of the line, which I'll talk about later, or staying inside, just trying to stay close by. So that was that. So that was just kind of funny. So another picture I need to find. This was me and my best friend. That is my dearest, nearest, like a sister. She now lives in New York, which is unfortunate for me because it's way too far away. Don't we look like relatives? I adore her. She's my she's my sweetheart. Dawn is my bestie. Don't get me wrong. Dawn's a lot more local, but I've known this girl since, like I said, since high school, and we are just inseparable, except she lives in New York now. So one of the things that I got from my friend, which was really cool, was the sign. I think I showed this. Well after we were in line for the show, these signs had gone up. And then I think it was, there's another one, or maybe it's this one, because it said something, and then there was like a cross. Yeah. It's like this got cut and... No, I don't know. It's like they had the sign up and then they put something across it later on. So there's like two different signs. And I think maybe it was this one. I think it was like, one thing will be signed, but then they made it where it was only going to be that lithograph sign. So I think that was the difference. In order to fit my scrapbook, I had to cut it down a little bit, but that's virtually the whole thing. And it's dumb, but it's a sign, can be seen in all the video and pictures and stuff like that. And, updated, please note the changes. So yeah, this was a different sign. So there was a slightly, different one. But I think that this just really minimized the 200 people, wristbands, signing, all that good stuff with the purchase and all that stuff. So there's that. I showed the fan and the thing the other day. Obviously, you can see my pretty here, but we'll get into that again tomorrow. And I think that I will also show, because I showed this yesterday. So I think I'll save the rest for tomorrow. The story is not much longer. You saw these other pictures. And like I said, I just don't want it to get too long. Mostly because I'm reading to you, and I just, a few of you are so sweet and are like, no, it's great, but I just really don't want to bore all of you just reading only and not, showing pictures and stuff. So come back tomorrow. We'll make it a part 3. We'll wrap it all up. You won't believe it just kept getting better and better and better. So thank you so much for joining me again. Please come back for part 3 tomorrow, and everybody have a great night. Bye.